here's the truth that you need to realize if you're struggling to make changes in your life, if you're continually cycling in the same patterns and the same self-sabotage. And I'm telling you this from experience because your girl lived there for a long time. And so your nervous system will only feel safe with the things that are familiar. And so if it feels unsafe for you to have something you don't have, maybe lots of money, right? Like think about lottery winners, how a lot of the times they win a lot of money, but then it just goes away. It's because it's not their identity, but they don't feel safe owning it and having it. And so whatever you want and you're not getting over and over again, right? You're stuck in that cycle. It's because your nervous system doesn't feel safe having it. It's not yet clamped on to that's an identity that I can hold. And it won't hold it. You'll self-sabotage around every corner. You will unknowingly, unintentionally go out of your way to make sure you don't have that or get that, right? Because it just doesn't feel safe. And so what is very, very helpful to you, and what I want to share with you today, and what I want you to take away, is I want you to sit down without judgment, because when we judge ourselves, we keep ourselves held at arm's length from what we want, because again, it doesn't feel safe, right? Write down where you feel your brain thinks, where you are in the person that you are, your identity, right? Your identity. But the person that you are you a person who ... What does your brain think you are, who you are, what you can and can't do, what you can have and what you can't have, where you've been in your life, where you haven't been in your life, like all the things, like write it all down. And then look at that and ask yourself, is that who you want to be? And is that actually helping you to get closer to what it is that you want? So if you, for example, want to be a millionaire, but right now, you got like $10 in your bank account, right? Not only is that a huge gap, but that's a huge gap for your nervous system because it doesn't feel safe, right? It's not an identity you hold. If you held that identity, you would already have it, but you don't, right? You hold the identity of the $10 in your bank account, not the $1 million in your bank account. And when you're thinking about all the traits that millionaire has versus the person with the $10 in the bank account has, they're drastically and vastly different. And so we need to train our brains, train our nervous system to feel safe with being that person, with taking the actions of that person. But when we don't, we just won't get it. And so today, write down where your brain thinks you are, where you are. Because so often it's hard for us to sit down in truth because we feel like strong emotions around it. Like I did. That's where I would struggle. As I didn't want to claim that I sucked and that my business wasn't where I wanted it to be because of my where it was because I wanted to be, period, not any ifs. It felt terrible. But the more I detached and uncoupled that story and allowed myself to feel abundant, allowed myself to feel successful with or without it, I was able to feel safe in it coming through. And it also works for if you're feeling kind of spotty. Sometimes you get some things in your life that looks like, yeah, but then you lose it, right? Again, like the lottery winner. It's because you just aren't feeling safe, right? You're just not. So the best thing in the whole world is to do exactly that. Write down your identity. See where you think you are right now, where you feel you are right now. Be brutally honest with yourself. Allow your brain, even if it feels like crap, to tell you all the things. And you'll see the gap between where you want to be and where you are. And where you are is what you have, and it's what you'll always have until you start building the bridge, until you start building the safety bridge to having what you want, for it to feel safe to have what you want. So I know this has served you in some way, in some capacity. It'll find you, the person who needs to hear it. But if this stuff that you want to work on, if you want to start to understand how to break free of the cycles and the spirals of self-doubt or overthinking, so you can take clear, aligned action and actually create the life you want, this is the work that I do. I help women to break free of those spirals. And these spirals are exactly what our brain is telling us where we are. But if we don't ask the questions and we don't start trying to rewire and allow nervous system safety to occur, we're going to get the same cycle. It's going to be like Groundhog's Day over and over again. So I'm always here, but I hope you have a blessed Monday.